Welcome to another episode of Candid Moments. Today, I'm excited to have my friend back again with me, but this time it's on video. He is a local children's book author, and a newly filmmaker. Please help me welcome Kenny Wilson to the microphone. Hi, Kenny.
Hey, Candice, thanks for having me back. I really appreciate it.
Isn't this better over video?
It is, yes.
See, we're learning and growing. Oh, so I missed it. I just went on your page, Kenny Wilson on Facebook, and I saw that I've been seeing that you've been at the Sudbury Market selling books, but then there was one post that said on Saturday, Tommy and the Christmas Call will be aired on Eastlink. Okay, so I went on the date. Today's the 7th, right?
You could actually see it right now on demand. If you're an Eastlink Community TV subscriber, you go to on demand, and it's supposed to be there. I'm not sure if it is. I'm not, so I haven't been able to see it.
Okay. So what's a bummer is that I was looking at last week, but oops, like I was a week too late. But that's okay. Before we begin, I would like to know, are you here?
Mhm.
What are 3 things today that you're grateful for?
Oh, that's a great question. The number one thing is my family. When I was 16 years old, my family was going through, my mom and dad were divorcing, and it was a really sad time in my life. And I remember I went to sleep and I was really depressed. And then I had a dream that I was a father and that I had a blonde little girl and we were playing. And I woke up, I was the happiest. And it was almost like a glimpse of my future because, as you know, my daughter, she's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and she's a little miracle. And we play all the time. And I'm very thankful for her in my life.
Oh, that's great. That's one.
Yes. The second is being born in the information age. Yeah, where if you want to learn something, you just have to find some good resources online and you can learn whatever you want, whatever your heart's content.
Beautiful. Number 3.
I'm thankful for you, Candice. I'm thankful for meeting you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Kenny. You are such a kind friend. I could go on and on. I could write volumes of what I'm grateful for, but today I was thinking this morning, it's not a negative, it's a positive. Okay. So this morning, it was excruciating for me to brush my hair. But what I'm grateful for is that I got through it. I'm okay. It's not news. It's just pain. It's okay. You live with it. Fine, whatever. Number 2, I'm grateful for talking to Mom on the phone this morning. I love that woman. She is my soul sister. We're getting ready for Christmas and my nephew's birthday. And number 3, yesterday I met with my coach over Zoom and we had such a powerful session. Oh, it was amazing. And I'm grateful for all my friends and special interviews with great friends like you.
Awesome. I'm thankful too, Candice, that you've never given up and you're always ready to get up and go again. That's I appreciate that about you. You're an inspiration.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There's so many other inspirations in this community and on this globe. I'm so grateful that I get to, like, the first person to believe that I could do my own podcast and buy this microphone and organize my business here. That first woman who believed in that big dream, she's right here. And she's hilarious. That woman keeps putting a big box of turtles in my cupboard and I keep eating them. But anyway, that's besides the fact. She's when did you first start writing these children's stories?
That was 3 years ago, but I've been writing on and off my whole life. I used to play role-playing games, so I'd always make characters, and anybody who's ever role-played with me knows that I go through a lot of characters because my characters always die for various reasons. So that's really where it started, writing background stories and that. But I've always wanted to publish something, but I never thought that I was worth publishing. So I never followed up with it. It wasn't until I was in my 40s that my confidence level finally reached the point where I felt I was capable of doing something.
Wow. Life is so full of learning. It'll be interesting to see where I'm at in my 40s. But Tommy and the Christmas Cole, I wish I could show everybody the copy, but my copy is not personal to me. It's special to me because it's signed by you, but it's on the bookshelf where my nephew lives with grandma and grandpa. And we read that book. I love that book. That was the first one that was published, Tommy and the Christmas Cole.
That's right.
And it is such a special Christmas book. The story, the message. Oh, Auntie loves reading that book with Drayden. I love it so much. Do you want to, like, I could tell everybody until I'm blue in the face what Tommy and the Christmas Cole is all about, but why don't you give us the premise?
Yes, for sure. So Tommy and the Christmas Cole is about a little boy who wants to get coal for Christmas so he can help mom and dad heat their home for Christmas because they only have enough coal to last till Christmas morning. So Tommy tries to get on the naughty list. And he tries to do all these things and they all backfire because he's really bad at being bad. And in the process, he changes his whole town and makes it a beautiful, colorful place.
Oh, and what happens on Christmas morning?
You'd have to watch the movie now to see
Okay,
that.
so the last time I spoke with you was a month or two ago, and the past year or so, you've been telling me about filmmaking and all these graphics and all these programs that you're learning on the computer because you have a thirst for knowledge, and you're one of those people who inspire me because you're always looking for bigger and better things, and that's how you and I can relate. But you're far more advanced than I because you read and you're always on the computer, but you wanted to be a filmmaker, and you told me that you, sir, are going to get on Netflix one day, and there was like this possible contract with them. And because the first person to believe that you can do that is you. So tell me about this story that is a film now, and walk me through the whole process.
So filmmaking is a team sport. That's the first thing I'm going to say.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have been able to do this project without the wonderful volunteers that came together to make this happen. Another thing about filmmaking is it costs a lot of money. So I was very fortunate in that I found a group of volunteers and we created this film with no budget. So that's the first thing. Other than time budget, a lot of people put a lot of time into making this happen, and I appreciate everybody who is involved to make it happen. The other thing about it, I don't think I could have paid a better group of people to come in terms of my cast. There's 8 people who voice the characters and the narrator in the story. And they're all wonderful people, professionals that lended their voices to this project and helped bring it to life. And I'm very appreciative for them.
It's an animation.
Yes, it's an animated film.
Oh, that is so awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see it. But people come over and they're like, where's your TV? And well, I got rid of it because I want to focus on my business. I'm not a TV watcher. So I unsubscribed to Netflix because I was just paying for it every month. So in September, it ran out. I have Prime Video because I have an Amazon subscription. Sometimes I'll put something on there, but I don't have the attention span for TV. I don't know what it is. So I don't have Eastlink TV. So if somebody does not have Eastlink TV, can they still watch your show?
So in the next little bit, I believe maybe as early as this weekend, Eastlink Community TV is going to be putting the series onto their YouTube channel
Okay,
to be available for everybody. I'm not sure the details of that. I had agreed to give them control over that for Canada. So they may have it on just when they're airing it on their channel, or they may have it on for an extended period. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. But if you follow me on Facebook, or possibly go to my website, if I start keeping up with that a little bit better, I'm going to post links to that. And that's kind of the plan. Alternatively, if you went to my Behance page in the next little bit, I'm planning on putting up the project to show how we did it, and to put all the um, to put in all of my credits for everybody who was involved in the
okay,
project, to kind of show how we put everything together. So that's that'll be coming there. I believe I'm going to be putting the project on there as well, but that's not really for public viewing. It's more for people who are interested in working with me or something like that. But if you wanted to, you could watch it there.
okay. So you'll send me the links to all that so that I can help promote it.
Yeah, for sure. I just have to wait until it comes out. So when you partner with a broadcaster like I have with Eastlink Community TV, you got to go by their rules. So
Okay,
that's the main focus of this, is that I can't control when they're going to be putting it out.
okay. How is that partnership?
It's amazing.
You must be learning so much.
Oh yeah. There's a lot to learn. With Eastlink Community TV, it's fairly straightforward. I just finished going to Ontario Creates and going through their futures program and learning how to get funding and stuff like that to do more projects. And it looks like it can get quite complicated with lots of different partners
Okay,
when
is
you
that,
get funding.
is that sponsorship related?
Uh, it kind of. So like, let's say to produce, like I wanted to produce a web series, a 10-part web series for my Rabbit Girl franchise.
Yeah,
So let's say it cost, I don't know, $500,000 to produce that, with everyone getting paid to be part of that process. I would have to get funding, and so the government would bring funding. Whoever you're working with to broadcast, it's going to bring funding. So you keep working until you get that pile of money, and then you can go out and start paying people to put it together. So it's complicated. It could be a few funders or a lot of funders, and then the more funders you bring in, each funder comes with a different set of terms and conditions.
okay,
So it's not like writing a book where you can kind of put it on the proverbial bookshelves and they just sell. It could be a full-time job just managing your responsibilities after you put this out. I've heard of filmmakers every year having to report on what's happened with a film that they made 5 years ago.
oh wow, I know nothing about that, but it sounds interesting. I was looking at your website this morning and I love the mission on there. It says to tell amazing stories that inspire youth, to inspire our youth to become tomorrow's leaders. And that's so fitting, because if you look at Tommy and the Christmas Call, how he took on a leadership role and how he leads by example, as well as, is it Evie? And
Yeah, Evie Edwards.
Evie Edwards, I like that.
Yeah.
In the Rabbit Girl series, she leads, can we say without title?
What do you mean by without title?
Do you read Robin Sharma at all?
No, I he's on my list of people to read.
Okay, I may have a few books to lend you.
So I'm not quite sure your reference to leading without title, but what's interesting about Evie Edwards is at the beginning of the book series, she's got zero confidence. And so even though she's got super strength and she's invulnerable and she's got everything you need to be a superhero. Inside, she's missing that spark because she just doesn't believe in herself. And then as the story progresses, she starts to learn about teamwork, and she starts to adopt a real a leadership role. And coming into the next book that is coming out, it's just been delayed because I've been involved with film stuff.
Okay.
She's going to be leading the team of heroes that and that you end up with at the end of book 3, without giving any spoilers here for anybody who hasn't read the series. She's going to be leading a team to undertake something much bigger than any one of those heroes, and by leading that team together, she's going to be able to do that. And that's going to go full circle because as you're going through your journey of self-confidence, you start with I think I can, and then it goes to I know I can. But to completely make it, you have to reach a point where you can say, I know you can. So that way you can get somebody else on your team that you believe in to do it. And that's really when you've completed your self-confidence journey, when you can let go of the reins and trust someone else to do it because you believe that you've enabled them to be able to accomplish the task that they need to do.
Bam! Ah, I love it. That is so great. How old is your daughter now?
She's 9.
She's not okay. So my nephew will be 9 in a little over a week. So on the 18th. Wow, so they're pretty close in age. And my nephew is actually one of the little superhero characters. Well, I know we've talked about this, but it wasn't on video in a previous episode. So Drayden is Wolf Boy, shapeshifter
That's
in
right.
the Rabbit Girl series. And Evie, Evelyn, she is a character in the book as well. I couldn't imagine being that little girl because she is a superhero in a book that Dad wrote.
Yeah, I think she's kind of over that
Really, it's not a
stuff.
big
Yeah. Yeah,
no.
well, because I'm her dad, right? So it's different. It's different for her.
That's
She
awesome though.
but like for example, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to get the kids involved in the project. So we had them provide some background sounds, like some background noise. And the first time she saw the Tommy video when I was doing my final edits, we went through the whole thing, and then she saw her name in the credits, and she was so excited that she was in the credits. So that was something I was able to do. So, but yeah,
Oh, that is so special. That's part of the legacy that you're creating, Kenny.
yeah, and she was also in special thanks because in order to get this project done, I had to be very busy working on it. So they didn't get to see much of me at all this summer and the fall, as I was head down just trying to get through the project. So I put special thanks in, and my daughter was named in that. So um, she was very excited at the beginning to be the Rabbit Girl, but now she's kind of been like that for a while, so she's not as excited as she used to be. But you're right. It's the whole reason why I wrote Rabbit Girl was to show her that she can be confident. And the way I see it is, you know, like well, right now at the market, I got a bunch of vendors together, and we have like a prize pack, and we're doing a raffle, $5 per ticket. All proceeds goes to Neo Kids Foundation. So, you know, if I sell one raffle ticket and that $5 goes to Neo Kids, and that makes a difference for Neo Kids, you know, even though it's just a little bit, that's a win. Now I'm happy to say we're well over $5 now, but like it's the idea is that you if everybody tries to do one little thing overnight, the whole world's going to change, because that one little thing is going to be multiplied by, what are we, 7 billion now? It'll be multiplied. That'll be 7 billion little things. That adds up really fast.
That does.
Yeah. And so I guess to your listeners, what I would say is every day, all 7 billion of us are doing something. Do you want to be putting it on the good things scale or the bad things scale? You know? And if all 7 billion of us decide to have a bad day the same day, and we all decide to be rude to each other, that's gonna be a really crappy day for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So you,
the world is still turning, so it's a choice.
that's right. That's right. The world still turns, but like the point is that do you remember when I did my Mo Monday speech and I
Yeah.
was talking about timing the Christmas call and how every act of kindness is a paint stroke that you're coloring someone's world with?
Yeah.
And if all 7 billion of us were doing one stroke at a time, it wouldn't take us long to change the color of the world. That's the whole idea, is to work together, just trying to do something nice. You know, it could be something small. Like where I used to work, we had a coffee shop in the building, and I would specifically look for people in the lineup that would look like they were having bad days, and I would buy them a cup of coffee.
Oh, that's so big. Where did I
Yeah,
go the other day? I was in New Sudbury and I was in a coffee shop. If Tim Hortons wants to sponsor me, by all means. But I was standing in line and I was the one that was next. But the gentleman in front of me, he said, "What are you having?" I said, "A coffee." He said, "I'll get your coffee." I was like, "Okay." He worked upstairs as the realtors upstairs. Is it Remax?
I think there's two of them. There's a Remax and then there's another group of guys.
Yeah, I think it was Remax. And it was so nice that he did that, especially around Christmas time. And anybody who knows me, like the way to my heart, you have to speak my love languages, right? You know, there's two main ones, but you know, you got to get to know me to know what that is. But coffee definitely is number one. You're getting closer, you know.
Yeah, it's just a small thing, right? It costs a couple bucks, and it's a chance to show someone that they're worthwhile. I remember when I was younger, in my angrier days, I remember I was having a really bad day and I was really grumpy, and I was walking. Where was I? I think I was leaving Cambrian College and I was cutting across LaSalle High School's parking lot to get to LaSalle to take a bus or something. And I was having such a bad day and I was in such a bad mood. And I crossed paths with the lady that was going the other way and she was heading towards, I think, the college.
Okay.
And she looked at me and she smiled. And it changed my whole outlook. She smiled at me,
Uh,
and it's like that doesn't cost anything. It was just a smile, but she changed my whole day, you know. And we never crossed paths again. So she would have no idea that she had a huge impact on me that day.
we truly will never know the impact that we have on other people, but we just have to believe in our heart that that impact will have a ripple effect.
Yeah, I think at the end, when we're on to the next stage, whatever that might be, I think that's when you find out the impact you have, good or bad. And I'm hoping that when the scales are set, I've made a positive impact in the world.
I think you're doing exactly that, Kenny. That is so amazing. I'm so grateful to have you in my circle. I remember a day, it was a few years ago, where you said, "I want to be a filmmaker." And I had no doubt in my mind that that would happen. And and you said to me, remember, remember this, we knew each other when, and we keep striving for these goals and these accomplishments and these big dreams, and they're so badass. Oh, I love it.
We're gonna like one day we're gonna look back and we're gonna see how far we've gone. Right now, my big goal, and I'll say it out there because I want it out in the universe. My
Yeah.
my big goal is I want to create full-time jobs in Sudbury in the film and augmented reality, virtual reality industry. Because I still want to tell stories that motivate people to be the leaders of tomorrow, but I don't want to be stuck in one medium. I want to be able to tell those stories across different mediums and make a positive impact on the people who participate in my stories.
Okay, so that's some other background work that you're doing and learning and growing.
Well, I think at some point I'm going to have to build a team. So the big problem that I'm having right now is trying to decide what comes first. Is it the team that comes first, or is it the money?
Right. And you've always kind of been battling with that because you have so much on your plate.
I can't ask people to do what I do without compensating them. You know, I know that I'm not normal in terms of how much effort I'll put into something to get it. So I don't expect anybody else to do that. And I don't think it would be fair of me to bring in a big team of people and, you know, we grind for the next 5 years until we, or however long it takes in order to get to where we need to be. I don't think that would be fair to ask people to do that. I would much rather create full-time jobs, even if it meant on the down low I wasn't getting paid, to be able to make it happen. Because for me, it's not like it's not about me, it's about the impact I'm going to make. You know, it's
Right.
not about my bank account, it's about
Right.
making
But
an
at the
impact.
same time, you have to make money while making a difference. I know, like we're both trying to do that. And yeah, we haven't made it just because we don't make tons of money and our businesses aren't like super profitable. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but it doesn't mean we're not making that impact.
Well, it's the impact that matters.
Exactly.
Money is just an instrument. It's a tool.
Hmm.
It's the impact that you make on the lives of those people around you that matters.
Right.
And
Okay.
if, yeah, and like if you know, like, well, you know my story. Can I tell it again? My story about my uncle.
Yes.
So in my early 20s, I wanted to commit suicide. For those who haven't heard of the story, I thought my life was over and I was ready to end my life. And I was getting ready to kill myself when my uncle called me up. My grandmother lived in the same building as I did. He was there to visit her, and he asked me, "Can you come on upstairs and come give me a hand bringing the groceries upstairs?" And so I was more than happy to do that, to help out my uncle. And I brought it upstairs and I said goodbye for what I thought was the last time to my uncle and my grandmother. And they had no idea my headspace that day. And my uncle said, "Ken, before you go, tomorrow I'm going to need help to bring these groceries back down if you don't mind." I said, "Yeah, no problem." And I went downstairs, and I won't say what I did because I don't want to enable anybody, but I was waiting to drift off to eternity when I remembered my uncle needed my help the next day. And I thought, geez, if I die today, I won't be there to help him tomorrow. And that's the only reason I'm alive today, is because I wanted to make a positive impact. And even in that stage where I didn't think I was worth anything, there was a value to what I could do, at least for my uncle, for the next day, right? And you know, my uncle asking me to be around the next day to help him with his groceries saved my life. So you never know what you might do to save someone's life.
These are candid moments, man. This is what it's all about. I just had Neil Dunsmore on my show and he wrote a book called, where did I put it? It's over there. I'm not gonna walk away from the camera. Reflections in the Ripple, and it was about his journey of walking 500 plus kilometers to raise awareness for mental health and suicide, because there are so many people out there who need to know that it's okay to reach out and ask for help. And I read a quote the other day that said, "We're not in the same boat." Because you know how people say, "Oh, we're in the same boat, grab your paddle," you know, whether we're going up shit creek or not. Um, we're all in a different boat, but I think we're all in the same sea.
It's and you know, nobody's boat is equal.
No.
So they may look like they're in calmer waters than you, but you don't know.
But
Maybe
if they're in a,
they're just a little bit away from dying. Like you just don't know.
like you could be in a yacht, so the waves, they're a little bit less treacherous than if you're in a canoe. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're using a metaphor or analogy, whatever you want to say. Thank you for being so vulnerable, Kenny. You know, and I think that story definitely helped shape your outlook on life.
Yeah, it definitely has. And like I share the story because if anybody's out there and they're in that situation, you're not alone, first of all, and you're worthwhile. And even though you may not think you are today, there's somebody who's going to be in your life at some stage that is going to be really important to you, and you're going to be happy you hung on. And I'll tell you, my daughter showed up in my life, my early 30s, when Lisa and I had her, and you know, she's my light. She's everything that I dreamt she would be when I was 16. You know, she's something precious to me, and you know, it may not be a child that in your life that becomes precious like that to you. Maybe someone you meet, mentor, someone that you decide to mentor. There's like a mentee. I think that's what you call that, a mentee.
Yeah.
But you know, we're all here for a reason, and sometimes that reason can be just as simple as to be a positive influence on those around you. And if you can help somebody make it to that next stage, you know, whether they're buying you a cup of coffee at the superstore, they're smiling at you in the parking lot, or you're doing anything like that, you can make a difference. And that's really all that matters, you know. And you just don't know, you could save someone's life, or they could save yours, because a lot of times we're blind to our own weakness.
Say that again.
So a lot of time we're blind to our own weakness. So if you're going around trying to be positive, that comes back to you. You know, even when you don't feel like it,
It's
that'll
karma.
come back to you. Well, not just karma, but karma, but it's let me see if I can. When you're putting out all this positivity, it changes what's going on inside. And there's been times in my life when the people around me thought I was the happiest guy ever, and I was doing all sorts of things to help people out, and I was bouncing off a rock bottom. They had no idea that I was as in precarious situation as I was with my mental health. And it's because I chose to take that suffering and turn that into positivity for those around me. Because it's never been about what's good for me. It's been about what's good for those around me. And
Right.
if everybody had that same mentality, it would change our world overnight. Literally change the world
Yeah.
overnight. Because then it's on what's good for the bottom line, what's good for the people around me.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be, I'm not talking about a global thing here. I'm talking about specific to your neighborhood. You know, maybe there's an old lady down your street that needs someone to shovel their driveway, you know, and you're capable of doing that. That's going to change her life. And then you might have that impact on her, and then she'll go and make an impact on somebody else, because she'll be like thinking, I got to pay this forward. So people will start, like, it's like a fire. Negativity and positivity are the same thing. So you have a choice what you're going to put out every day. Do you want to start a bad fire, or do you want to start a good fire that heats people's lives?
And the same, like they're both rapid fires.
That's right.
Like
your action's like a fire.
Right. Like, for example, the positivity quotes that I put out, that is my mission every morning, to put out a positive, happy day post, whatever it is. Happy Tuesday, by the way. I do that because people comment or they message me and say, thank you, I needed that today. I've been doing that for, it's going to be going on 12 years. I do it every single day. Do you think that my computer and my phone are filled with space because I have all this positivity? There were days a couple years ago, in 2018. There was a 2-week period of time where I was going through a very, very hard time. I was living in a women's facility, let's say. Okay, maybe I'm not ready to fully talk about it. Okay,
I didn't know that happened.
yeah, don't worry about it. It's I went
Holy
through it.
cow.
Yeah, it's okay. Every single day in that place, and it felt like hell. But I had to stay there to learn the lesson. And yes, there was abuse involved and all this really negativity. Every day I still put out my happy posts because there was a lesson in every single day. So just because I was feeling really like low and yuck and I didn't know how to get out of this situation, well, it's no big deal. Like mom and dad moved me back to their house, and my dad built me a 9-foot closet because he didn't want his baby girl to move back out, even though I did a year later. I got my life together, and then I moved to this place, which is my office, 2 years ago. But anyway, that positivity, I wanted people to still see that lesson of positivity, and I still wanted to sprinkle happiness and positivity everywhere I went, even though or despite any hardships that I was going through. That was my point. Sorry, it went a little longer than it needed to.
Well, let me tell you, during this process of doing this first animation, I had some pretty bad days while I was learning the ropes, which happens no matter what you do.
I would imagine.
And there were days where I wouldn't look at anything because I just had my head down. And then every now and then I would have to hop in to message somebody, and I'd hop into Facebook and I'd see one of your positivity messages, and it always made my day. It always reminded me to keep going and just keep a smile on my face. So even
Oh,
though I didn't have time to comment,
that's
'cause I
okay.
really didn't, that made a difference. So it just goes to show you, just like what we're talking about, you know?
Thank you. See, and that means the world to me. What's that quote? You may not mean the world to everybody, but to somebody you may mean the world. Something like that.
I think so. Yeah, I'm trying to think. You may not mean the world to everybody, but to someone you may be their world. I think that's what the
Right? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think yeah, it's close anyway, but we get the gist of the
We
message.
probably both have it wrong.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We're so focused on our business and our message and the meaning and the details, but the universe will figure out the details. Because I know that you go through stress, Kenny, because you have trouble focusing, because you have a million goals on your plate. And how do you focus and just surrender to the universe and just say, you know what, all of these great things are on my vision board. I'm focused, I'm laser focused, but the universe will handle the details. Do you know how to do that? Easier said than done. I
Yeah.
don't always practice what I preach. Okay.
I'm just trying to think. I think what I do to make that happen, especially right now, is I just focus on the next thing, which is what you should do. Like if we were driving across Canada right now, we wouldn't be worried about what was happening when we got to BC. We'd be worried about how to get out of Sudbury and make it to the next stage, and paying attention to what's in the road in front of us. It's the only way you'll survive that drive. You know,
Right.
you can't be on your phone checking out what's going with the weather in BC when you're still in Sudbury. So you need to focus on that next stage and be open to taking detours. Because when I wrote Tommy and the Christmas Call 3 years ago, I wanted to make it a film, and I wasn't ready. And it took me 3 years to get to the stage where I could make it happen, because it took development. There was development going on since I was 35. I've been developing myself, and I wasn't ready. And I had to focus on the first thing, which was to learn how to write a story, learn how to produce a story. That prepared me for the next stage. Then I wanted to learn how to write scripts. Then I learned how to do that. And as you're moving forward and you're learning more and more things, you're doing it, and then just really focus on your craft.
Bam. I love it. Ah, exactly. So I just took this off my new vision board that I'm making. I have so many vision boards. I'm getting ready for a workshop in February, and I just wanted to focus on this picture for a moment. I saw this online, so while there was like a quote and whatever. So I found what's it called? It's not a sand.
Hourglass?
Hourglass, thank you. The sands of time, an hourglass. And there was in this quote, there was an arrow right here in the middle. So what's falling? It doesn't matter how much has fallen, that's the past. How much we have left is actually unknown to us. So what we have, we don't know how much time we have left. You can't worry or focus on it. But what's falling right in the middle is the present. So we have to be reminded to focus on the present, learning and growing, spending time with our family, growing our business, personal growth, all of that. That's right here.
And make each grain of sand count.
Yes.
You might have 10 more grains left. You don't know. You could have 1,000. You just make the best of every grain of sand that falls. And you know, another thing too, Candace, is I was a volunteer firefighter for just under 5 years. And the one thing I learned in the fire department is egress. So if you're in a house fire, sometimes you can't go to the door. So you got to make a hole in the wall to exit. So I have since stopped looking for doors because if I can't find a door and I need to get to the other side of a wall or something that's blocking me, I just find a way through it. And it's I think that mentality is what's gotten me here, because
wow,
you know, I'm one guy. What makes me think I can make an animation? You know, no experience. So I just put my head forward and we just dug forward. And as I went, I met some people who really believed in my vision, and they started helping me dig, and we made it through that wall. And now I've done it, and I'm moving forward towards doing the next one. And it's all because, you know, I didn't listen to the naysayers, but the biggest one being myself and my own imposter syndrome. But
right.
You just keep moving forward, because like you said, you don't know how much sand you got left.
Right. Wow. I think this is my favorite interview.
Thank you so much.
Oh, this has been so wonderful. I'm excited for your journey in the film industry, Mr. Kenny Wilson. Oh, thank you so much for having a candid moment with me today, Kenny.
Maybe one day in the near future, we can get you on as a cameo. Would that be something? That would be awesome.
I would totally do that for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That would
Virtual high five.
Yeah, high five. Sending, oh, I sent my Christmas cards out yesterday, so you and Lisa will get mine.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Sending you guys lots of love for Christmas, and be safe and keep chasing those dreams, my friend.
You too. We'll chase them together.
Yes. Thanks, Kenny.